Because right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Erica, and thank you for tuning in to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Robby Incmikoski in a matter of moments, so we're taking your phone calls tonight. Right there's the number, 412-575-2600. And what to talk about here tonight, the battle in Buck goes. They win the series in Cleveland, and one of the better teams in the American League and one of the better teams in the AL Central. Knocked them off. They should have won 3 straight, but they won 2 out of 3. And look, if you can win 2 out of 3 every single series here out, you're definitely going to make the postseason, Robby. There's no doubt about that. Right now, the good news is they're tied for that final wild card spot. The bad news is they're headed to New York to face the Yankees. But, hey, the goal is 2 out of 3. It's harder than it sounds, but you win 2 out of 3, you're in.
Well, look, that's a great way to look at it, and certainly anything is possible for them given the way they played here going into the All-Star break against the Milwaukee Brewers, a doubleheader sweep and a blowout on the Sunday leading into it. And you got a series win against a first-place team in the Cleveland Guardians. I know they're in second right now, but, Rich, they can beat any team in Major League Baseball, and I think people really can focus at times on the bullpen. The offense is the offense, most prolific offense in baseball this year, best offense the Pirates have had in a very long time. Look, the bullpen's a bullpen. We understand that. But they put themselves in good position. If I would have said to you, Rich, after 100 games, they'd be 52-48, what would you say, right? And that's with how many blown leads that they've had this year. They could have 56, 57. They could be 60-40. There's an argument to be made. They could be 20 games over 500 right now. But such is life in Major League Baseball.
So 8 games. But the problem is the bullpen. That is the problem. That's the real problem that they have to address, and they have to address it soon. I think so. I understand that you're trying to piecemeal it together here, but yesterday was an absolute disaster. 18th blown save, proof again that you got to do something.
Right.
But then you read stuff like Bob Nightingale put it out there that they're going to be aggressive in the trade market, but they're not going to spend more money. So how do you do that?
All right.
Give me a scenario how you do that and how you unload the money to get a couple bullpen arms.
Well, look, first of all, Bob Nightingale is one of the most respected Major League Baseball reporters to ever come across the sport. The guy is tremendously well respected. So if he's saying it, there's something behind it. So Bob has a tremendous amount of credibility, and I take nothing away from him. But this is just a report of what Bob thinks the Pirates' thinking is. That's not to say that is what's going to come to fruition come trade deadline time, Rich. So we don't know that for certain. That's the first thing. And I have all the respect. I know Bob. He's a professional colleague and a great guy, and he really knows his stuff, number one. Number two, you don't know.
Well, basically, they're not going to be adding a $10 million arm. You can throw that out, right?
Right, and I understand that, Rich, but you have to look at what acquisition costs could be, what salary could be going out, what salary's coming in. We just don't know, right? It could. What if it's somebody that's just a bad signing? What if there's some $5 million signing that a team made and it's not panning out and they're unloading a guy at the deadline, okay? They could take a guy in for pennies on the, I don't want to say pennies on a dollar because a contract's a contract, but at the same time.
But the other team could eat some of the money.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that doesn't necessarily, look, that fires up the nutting is cheap crowd, which is honestly, Rich, I'm being honest with you. Look, I'm not saying it's not.
I'm in the nutting is cheap crowd. I'm in that crowd though, Robby. Yeah. I'm in that crowd.
Yeah, but so are the Miami Marlins, Rich, and where are they? Also,
no, I'm in the crowd that's saying nutting is cheap. I'm totally in that crowd.
I understand
this has been proof. The last few years have been proof.
Rich, we're getting into a different debate right now, and I understand that. But some of this is drafting and developing. While the Pirates are having success, not spending money. Yes, they spent money on O'Hearn, Ozuna, Lau, and Soto, and all the other additions that they made this year. Yes, they spent money. I understand that, but this is such an easy way to get into the nutting is cheap narrative. We don't know if that's going to happen is all I'm saying. I'm not saying Bob's right or wrong. Yeah. I'm just saying you have to look at each particular deal as it comes in, or when they make a deal, how does it come in? What if spending money was going to guarantee wins and translate to success? The Anaheim Angels would have 3 World Series by now since the time they signed Josh Hamilton and Albert Pujols back in 2012, right? So Dan Herron, C.J. Wilson, Anthony Rendon.
You're also only paying for a month two of service.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I don't think it's as big a deal. You're talking about, I think it's August 3rd or 4th this year. That used to be on the 31st.
It's August 3rd.
Right. So it's a couple days later this year, Rich. So you're talking about 2 months of salary. How many times have Pirates had like a Tommy Pham, Gerard Dyson, all these guys come in for one-year deals, Jose Quintana, and they trade them when they're out of the race. The Pirates could be on the receiving end of a player like that, is what I'm saying, right? So I don't know that the acquisition cost would be that great. And Bob would probably say, you know what? 2026, we have a chance to make the playoffs for the first time in 11 years since 2015. I mean, I'm not saying
you're not going to be able to unload a Soto and his money. No one's going to want that guy.
And that's a
right?
sunk cost already. Ozuna's sunk cost. Soto, sunk cost. It's all sunk cost. They're already paying that money. They're not worth. They're worth used hair gel of yours, Rich. That's what it's worth right now. Okay?
I don't use gel, but my hair paste that I use is probably worth more.
Right. It's an empty Rich Walsh jar of pomade is what it is as far as sunk costs go. Okay. So my point is here, and that joke wasn't that. It was just okay.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. But no. But the point is, we don't know what's going to happen, Rich. I mean, it's not to say he doesn't want to increase payroll. Okay, we get that. He hasn't wanted to increase payroll forever. We already know this. And look at where they are. They're in a playoff spot. So drafting and developing has a lot to do with this. And if they could get some internal improvement, look, it's certainly not trending well, and we got to be realistic at this point in time. The bullpen is what it is. But you signed Soto for, I think it was $7 million. Santana coming off a sub 2.5 ERA last year, career year. Now he's north of 6 with the ERA. Something has to give, but it's not easy. You can't just snap your fingers and make a bullpen better.
Both guys are pushing 9 ERA since the end of May. So
right, and that's understandable. So look, what are they going to do, Rich? I don't really know.
They got to add two bullpen arms is what they have to do.
But they're not going out and getting Aaron Judge or Kyle Schwarber. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting a $30 million a year player for 2 months as a rental. They're going to get a guy who's a couple $1 million. And
you're not going to get Chapman now. I mean, you got to look for two mid-level bullpen arms.
Look at
like
the Detroit Tigers. Okay, had a great year last year. They're struggling this year. What if they want to unload people to try to, re-rack the holster for next year so they can have some big dogs to compete again for the American League Central? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen between now and the deadline. I wouldn't put too much stock. And that takes nothing away from Bob Nightingale.
I mean, you could trade Brandon Lau. And I know we talk about that on the #1 Conference Sports Showdown tonight. I know a lot of people don't like that opinion that I'm throwing out there, but you trade a strength for a strength. Somehow, you might have to be a 3-team deal, but whatever it is, you could do that. I know you're against it, but we got to take a break, Robbie. Right. I want you to finish your thought coming up next. Stay right there. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Coverage. Walsh, and here is our Xfinity tweet of the night from Dan Zangrilli. As Merlin Valdez, the magician, is the first Pirate since Willie Stargell during his monster 1971 season to have an extra base hit and an RBI in 7 straight games. He's on a tear. I'm all for giving him some kind of long-term deal. I think he's for real. I like him. 8 years, $100 million. Buy out some of those ARB years and add a couple extra free agent years on there. And maybe you're getting a steal. Gamble on a guy like him. Gamble on him, Robbie.
30 Major League Baseball games, Rich.
30. He's proven me. He's proved a lot to me.
Rich, pause for a second. Hear me out here, okay?
All right, trying to.
He's only played 30 Major League games, okay? The Pirates are going to have control over his contract for
6 years.
Well, really, if you count this year, it's going to be 7 because he's not going to be a Super 2 because he's not. I'd have to check the numbers, but I don't think he's going to get enough days of service time to qualify for free agency and for Super 2. So why? He's league minimum this year. He's league minimum guaranteed for the next 2, potentially for the next 3. The other thing to think about too, Rich, as you mentioned, is a point that has been under discussed and not talked about enough recently, which is what does the salary structure look like in the next CBA? We have no idea if there will or won't be a salary cap. We see all the chatter. We see all the wrangling going back and forth. Who knows if this changes, Rich, how the Pirates are going to do business moving forward. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if there's a salary cap and there's some cost certainty, I think Bob Nutting is going to, probably step up a little bit, because there's no cost certainty right now. It's the Dodgers, it's the Yankees, Red
Sox. And if there's a salary floor, he might sell the team.
And then all these other teams are competitive. Marlins, Pirates, White Sox. I mean, all these other teams are good. And if you look how they draft, look how they develop, right? So
There has to be a cap and there has to be a
Right.
floor. I know it's a
Right.
different discussion, but it's got to be
Right.
closer
Right.
together.
And the
what do you
original-
do? Do you grandfather guys in? There's
Right.
got to be all kind of moves
That's
that you
a
have
whole-
to make.
That's
Yeah.
a whole mess right now. But back to your
There
original
might not
point.
even be baseball next year either.
Right. I think there is, because neither side could afford to miss games. But miss a season is what I mean. They can miss a couple games and modify the schedule in late March, early April. But Rich, hear me out. Esmeralyn Valdez, when you're the Pirates, and that is how they have to do business, and we talked about this ad nauseum. We're both blue in the face talking about this. We know they have to hit on every single free agent, essentially, that they spend reasonable money on. They don't have to spend this money on Valdez. I know they didn't have to spend it on Griffin either, but when you have a big-time elite talent like Connor Griffin, you can identify that pretty early. That was not the case with Valdez coming up. Teams adjust, Rich. They just do. How many guys have we seen come up and have big success right away? Remember Eric Thames back with the Milwaukee Brewers?
No, I get it. 19.
I mean, I'm just saying wait.
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
Okay.
I'm not saying the guy's not going to be a great player. I take nothing away from Valdez. He's been unbelievable, and I love watching the kid play. His humility, his ability to hit power, to spray the ball over the place and put it over the fence is spectacular. And he's been a major shot in the arm for this team. I just don't know. I'm giving this guy $100 million 30 games into his big league career. That's all.
It's over 8 years, though. Don't forget about our question of the night from Penn West University. Just scan that QR code in the right-hand corner of your screen. Can the Pirates improve the roster without increasing the payroll at the deadline? I say no. I think they should increase the payroll. I'm always for it's not my money. Spend it. Get a winner in here.
What does Brandon Lau get? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. What does Brandon Lau get this year? Did he get a big
I don't know. They traded for him, so he's got his other contract, but he's going to make. He's a free agent at the end of the year. That's why you got to unload him. You got to do something with him because you're going to lose him.
What if you have a chance to make a run?
But I think he's a good clubhouse guy. He hasn't been great, but he's coming up with some big clutch hits at times. He leads the Pirates in home runs. He's making about $11 million roughly.
Okay.
But he's going to probably make $25, $30 million next year. A 3-year deal, probably $90 million. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm in the category that they should spend more money. I'm always going to be in that category because I want to see a winner here until there is a salary cap and salary floor.
Arte Marino's on the phone right now going, hey, I spent $3 billion and haven't made the playoffs as recently as the Pittsburgh Pirates have.
All right. Well, we got to go out to the phone lines. Let's go out to Bobby in Turtle Creek. How you doing, Bobby? Bobby, there?
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up, Bobby?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I just want to know how long are they going to continue to throw Dennis Santana out there? They could switch him up with Montgomery's role, let him be a starter. The Pirates, the one-inning starter, the Pirates got enough pop in the bats to catch up after that. When you put him in the ninth inning and he gives up the lead, then you can't do nothing about it.
No, I'm with you. He's been awful this year. He, like I said, he's pushing a 9 ERA since the end of May. So I don't know why they even put him in that situation. Obviously, something is going on in high-leverage situations. He's not the same player he was last year. I don't know what you do with them. But I do agree with maybe using a guy like Montgomery in those high-leverage situations or Matson and limiting what you do with Santana.
Rich, you're forgetting a big name, kind of the bullpen. Who are you forgetting here, Rich?
No, I'm not forgetting.
Carmen Mlodzinski as a closer. What do you think?
Well, yeah, Carmen Mlodzinski, but they're not using him as that.
I know.
I don't even know if he'd want that. Look, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. They need to use him in a different way. I don't like the way he's being used, and I don't understand why he didn't pitch 4 innings yesterday to shut down that game so you could use Matson.
No, I understand
and maybe things would have been different, but you know what? You're going to pitch him on Tuesday. Maybe he goes twice. But he's stretching out. I don't like the way they're using Mlodzinski.
So and what Bobby in Turtle Creek said, and he has a valid point. I don't disagree with it, but you also have to look at it from this point in time. This guy had a 2.19 ERA last year. He was a revelation, became a closer, was unbelievable, and he could throw punches from the bullpen in Detroit at fans jumping in the air. The other thing too is this was part of their plan going into 2026. This was the plan for the bullpen, Rich, right? And it hasn't gone that way. Soto had his struggles. Santana obviously having his struggles, right? Like, it's the same person who had a sub-2.2 ERA last year, right? So, like, I don't think they expected this to happen. Obviously,
no, they didn't. No, they didn't.
So it's just a hard situation that they're in right now. At this point in time, given the struggles that they've experienced and what they've seen their bullpen do this year and the amount of games it has cost them, why not? Why not at this point in time? Carmen is a hard-throwing guy. His best role, in my personal opinion, is getting you through the lineup once or getting you big outs that you need. He's a high leverage.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir, Robbie. I get
guy.
it. It's
try
not going to happen. Something's going to change. They got to figure something out. Maybe August 3rd, they go out and get 2 bullpen arms. Maybe they get a closer. Who knows? I don't know. We're going to see what names could be available coming up here. But let's go out to Chris in Penn Hills. How you doing, Chris? We go from the Creek to Penn Hills. What's up?
Hi, Rob. I'd like to ask you a question about NASCAR. I just got done watching the NASCAR race. I'd like to ask you if you are you familiar? I mean, do you think NASCAR drivers are athletes? And
I think some are.
Oh, yeah.
I think some are, but I'm going to leave Robbie with this question. All NASCAR and World Cup questions go to Robbie.
Whoa,
go
there
ahead.
we go. I got to listen to this now from you, Rich. Yes, the answer is yes. I think, look, they're driving a car, but the amount of shape these guys are in, the amount of endurance they have to make that many left turns in that short period of time, going that fast in those temperatures, they're athletes. They're absolutely athletes, these guys. I don't know.
You have to be in good shape. I mean, I do know.
Yeah.
I do know. What? It gets up to what? 140 degrees in those cars?
Oh, it gets really hot. Remember Mark
For how many
Martin
hours?
was the driver? Mark Martin, he was number 6. I remember his car.
Do you
back
get to
in
stop and go to the bathroom? I mean, you got to do all these things.
That dude was rocked out. Unbelievable shape. I don't think you have
What do they do at the 24 Hours of Le Mans? I know that's not NASCAR, but
I don't know.
they change drivers. But,
I
mean, what happens if? How many hours can you go?
And then the pit. I don't know. Do you want to try, Rich? Me and you will just go around a track and we'll talk about what pomade we're going to buy.
I actually would be afraid to drive 190 miles an hour. I don't think I could do it.
I don't think I could either. But yeah, yes, these guys, anybody that does something at the highest level, and I've been fortunate, Rich, to spend 16 years as a reporter and host in Major League Baseball. When you see the work ethic that these guys put in and how dedicated they are to their crafts and how hard they work, hockey, basketball, baseball, football, NASCAR, golf, all these people, they are all athletes. There's no question about it. Their skill set might be different. I know John Daly could have a massive beer gut and still hit a ball 500 yards. But these guys.
I don't know if John
athletes.
Daly's an athlete.
Except John Kruk.
I might disagree with you on that one. But
John Kruk, not an
most
athlete.
of the NASCAR drivers are athletes. I'll give you that. We got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports. Garment Walsh along with Robby Incmikoski. I really enjoyed the NASCAR question. It's fascinating now.
Rich, you know
Steve
what I
Banko's
really
telling me
enjoyed?
all kind of information in my ear.
I enjoyed owning you on the Nightly Sports Call tonight. A rare victory for me tonight, Rich.
With
in
what?
case you're wondering.
With what did you own me on?
Just every debate topic we debated tonight.
Yeah.
Crowning myself the winner, okay?
All right. Well, then maybe let's talk about the Open Championship. How much of that did you watch? Ryan Fox hit a 175-yard shot to 11 feet to make the birdie.
I have watched Ryan Fox forever. And
Oh, you have? Where's he from?
What's that?
Where's he from?
Where do you think Ryan Fox is from?
All right, thanks a lot, Robbie. I appreciate your time.
You're the best,
We'll see you
Rich.
back here next week, and hopefully we see you guys on KDKA News right now.